we are getting some breaking information. 3 sources now telling us that these 2 children have been found safe. Bri'ya and Braxton Williams. Bri'ya on your left, Braxton on the right. Can we go to this live look right now? We have a camera on the scene where a bunch of activities happening. There it is. JFRD, JSO on the scene right now with a whole bunch of activity. We can't see what's happening just yet, but I can tell you from 3 sources, including a police source and a JFRD source, that these 2 young children, the 5- and 6-year-old brother and sister who've been missing for going into 3 days now, have been found safe. Tanika.
And we're also hearing from sources that they're working to get the parents to reunite these children. Again, the parents reported them missing, said that they were playing right in their front yard and they disappeared.
That was Sunday morning at 11:30.
JSO didn't have a lot of information. Then today they said they were looking for a white car, possibly playing children's music. And then moments ago, 3 Action News Jack sources saying the children have been found safe. We're looking live from that scene. It looks like it's still in the Paradise Village area where the children are from.
That's right. This is not far from where they disappeared.
Absolutely.
And where Elizabeth Pace was reporting live for us just a few minutes ago, as she saw a lot of activity and units racing past her live location. And now here we are with this. And again, I didn't mean to cut you off, Tanika,
no, go ahead.
But again, I want to reiterate for folks, we can't see what's happening here, but we just saw a whole bunch of activity. And again, we have 3 independent sources, including folks in JSO and JFRD, I believe, who say that these 2 children have been found safe. This is absolutely incredible news, because if this is true, this would be 3 nights, Sunday night,
and so
Monday night,
zoom back
2 nights, excuse me, Sunday night and Monday night, that they would have survived being out.
Yeah, we're trying to zoom in to see. Again, we aren't able to really see the children themselves, but I'm seeing some smiles there.
There was an ambulance, though, that took off, so they may have put them in there to be checked.
The tone seems to change. I do see some people smiling. It looks like some folks kind of just gathered there in front of that car. What we did see moments ago during Elizabeth's live shot, we saw a JFRD unit zoom back into that area. So I want to go back out to Elizabeth, who's at the scene. Elizabeth, what have you learned about what our sources are telling us about these siblings being found safe?
So right now you're looking at a group of officers and JFRD who are out here. I just heard them clap and congratulate each other on a good job. 2 ambulances just took off. We're hearing from multiple sources that the children have been found safe. I know another neighbor just walked up to police a moment ago and saying that the kids have been found. And so right now you're seeing a moment. I saw them take a knee down here and pray as well. So right now it's looking like a good sign. Of course, I'm trying to talk to the JSO PIO right now to confirm all this information, all the information surrounding this, and so we're just waiting for them to get done over there so we can ask them more questions.
You can see the mood shift out there. It was that moment where they were smiling, kind of huddled together there. Someone appeared to be taking a photo. And a source is telling us that actually someone from JFRD spotted something in the woods, and that's how they were able to track these children down. But I think after more than 3 days or 3 days of this search, and the recent case with Taylor Williams, a lot of people in our community worried, fearing the worst. And so to hear from 3 sources that these children have been found safe, this is the news that this family needed. This is the news that this community needed. And we're going to continue to work to try to find more information about exactly where they were found. But again, John, it's right there in their own neighborhood.
Truly amazing and spectacular news today. And it just goes to show they had hundreds of people out looking for these 2 children for days now, for 2 days. And it just goes to show they checked 400 some houses.
20 bodies of water.
20 bodies of water.
The dive team.
They combed this entire area, and here we are on day 3. And it appears that firefighters there searching that area still today have finally found these 2 children. And of course they took them off. If this is where we are looking at, the ambulance left, we don't know the conditions that they are in, but judging by the mood that you pointed out just a few minutes ago, certainly seems positive at this point in time.
And just to catch you back up, if you're just tuning in, 3 sources telling Action News Jax that missing siblings, 5-year-old bri'ya Williams and 6-year-old Braxton Williams, were just found safe not too far from the Paradise Village area where they were reported missing from. We've had this 3-day search effort with hundreds of people on the ground. This morning, around 11:30, JSO giving a briefing saying that, hey, they were looking for a white car, possibly an older white man playing children's music. They were not leaving any stone unturned in this search effort, going through surveillance cameras from video from neighbors and soliciting the community for information, John. And so this was one of those things. We've seen them launch these all-out efforts because when a child is missing, that is serious. And they wanted to try to get these children found safe, and we're hearing that they were. Again, as you mentioned, we don't know exactly how they're doing, and that's what we're going to work to find. But this is amazing news to get these babies found.
Certainly in light, I mean, of course it's amazing anyway, but as you mentioned, bri'ya Williams, and of course that did not end well. That was the way we had feared, and this was certainly on that path as every second went by. But again, phenomenal news. I want to run down the timeline for you again. If you're just joining us, 3 sources again telling us that these 2 young children have been found. So that's where we are right now. We started this on Sunday at about 11:30 in the morning when the children's father said that the 2 were playing in the front yard, and that was the last time that the family had seen bri'ya and Braxton Williams. At 1:30, the family reported those children missing to police. And then at 4:30 Sunday afternoon, JSO tweeted that a search had begun for these missing children. And about 45 minutes later, 5:15, FDLE issued an Amber Alert for these children. So there have been resources called now into searching for these kids for days. And as we've mentioned, dozens and hundreds of people, police dogs, drones, helicopters, volunteer search crews, you name it. Folks from JSO, JFRD have spent hours for nonstop through the nights searching for these 2 children. Let's
get back out to Elizabeth, who's been at that scene doing wonderful coverage for us. And Elizabeth, you have someone there that you're hoping to talk to.
This is the woman I just told you about who actually walked up to police and JFRD asking questions. Ma'am, you walked up to me initially asking, what did you learn over there?
Well, when I first walked up, I was very concerned because I didn't have no idea what was going on. But when I walked up, they were celebrating, hand clapping and everything, saying, well done, good job, great job. And so I asked them, was the kids okay? They said the kids was found, they was okay. But it wasn't the officers, it was really I guess the divers or something that did it. But it doesn't matter, we just thank God for them, for the kids being back and being safe and unharmed. So,
ma'am, so are you a neighbor or related to this family?
I'm a cousin on the mother's side.
Wow, and so what is your reaction right now?
I just thank God that they saved my cousin's kids so they can go home to her and the father, and they can just love on their kids. And I have to give the Lord all the glory because only Jesus. I just thank him.
Absolutely. Did you get a chance to see the kids? How did they look?
I didn't get a chance to see them, but they did reassure me that everything is okay.
Wow, well, thank you so much for talking to us and sharing that information. Guys, we're still out here. I'm going to try to turn around to show you some of the scene right behind me. We still see a group of police and JFRD out here. They're walking towards us right now. From what you've heard, it sounds like a JFRD dive team member found them in the woods, and so we're going to talk to them. They're walking right up to us right now, hopefully find more about how they found these 2 little kids.
All right, Elizabeth, hey, thank you very much. As we see a bunch of search crews coming to you, I want to bring in Garrett Beanbaugh now. We've got him in the First Alert Weather Center because I think it's important to note, is Elizabeth going to try to talk to those folks? Okay, let's go back to Elizabeth. We'll bring up Garrett's point here in a minute. Elizabeth, go ahead.
Hi, is there anybody who can tell us what just happened?
Not right now.
Not yet, sorry.
Is it a good day for fire and police?
Well, they're not able to talk to us right now. I'm sure they're going to hand this off to the higher-ups to give us an official word. But again, we saw them here live on Action News Jax cheering and clapping. You heard from the woman who said she's a cousin of the mom of the kids, who said that she flat out went up to them and asked, are these children okay? And she said that they confirmed that they were, and that someone from the dive team or from JFRD found those children. So this is a cousin.
A cousin of the children's mother, I believe. So we're going to continue to stay with this right now, and perhaps in the next few minutes we'll get somebody to talk to us on camera officially. But let's go back to Garrett now, because I think as we were talking about how they survived 2 nights presumably outside. We don't know exactly what has happened to these children in the last 2 days, but it's been a relatively mild couple of nights. But Garrett brought a great point about how we've got these storms coming. So Garrett, maybe talk a little bit through us what you expect in the coming hours and how important it is that they found these children right now when they did.
Yeah, it is actually really important, especially since we're told that they're found safe and alive, because there's literally thunderstorms moving in right now in the next few minutes here in the White House area right here. There is a heavy downpour on First Alert Doppler HD, and then this line of thunderstorms with lightning involved as well. So this is all moving off to the north and east. So really good news that they found them at this moment. This is what just tells you need to keep searching, right? Because at mere moments away, we'd be having heavy rain and also some more thunderstorms moving in from the west to the north and east for this afternoon. Today, it was warm, though, warmer than average with temperatures. We made it to 82 degrees at the International Airport, and so that was tying the record high temperature. So those kids were out in the warm temperatures yesterday and also today. So, John and Tanika, that was a factor with the heat at least. It was warm, and who knows if they had water or not either. So we'll be tracking that for you here with all the weather coming up.
And at this point, Garrett, we still don't exactly know where the children have been for these last 3 days. We were told just now by the cousin that they were found in the woods, but we don't know if they were under a house, in a shed. We're not sure, and those are the details that we hope to get shortly. Let's go back out to our Elizabeth Pace, who's out there on the scene, kind of walking around with Dale Carson
right there, our law and safety expert.
They've been trying to find someone,
agent.
that can talk to us. But Elizabeth, if you can hear us, I'd love for you to bring Dale in for us as well to kind of weigh in on this search and this great outcome.
I'm standing right next to Action News Jack's law and safety expert Dale Carson out here. So, wow, what a momentous moment after day 3 of searching. What can you add to this?
Well, this was a blessing. And of course, we now begin to understand that children can get lost in this dense area. If you look at the palmettos behind us, there's no way really to even go through there. Now, a small child could crawl in underneath all of that and be there for a protracted period of time. And of course, all this activity, the children are not knowing that they're not in trouble, so they're staying hidden, much to the chagrin of all of us who are looking desperately for them. So this is just another example, not only of a blessing, but of the fact that when children leave an area, they typically can be found in very close proximity to their home. Clearly, they didn't wander very far. Thank goodness they didn't wander into some of these wetted areas where there are ponds, which would require a diver. But if you look right over here,
let's go over there.
This is the general area where they were discovered, and you can see by just looking in here that you can barely come through here.
Okay, we're going in.
See anything at all. You can see in here it's just dense, but a child can easily crawl underneath here, and you can see underneath there, you'd never find them. Even thermal imaging wouldn't pick that up. So it's just a blessing that someone had the foresight to look in that area and discover the children.
So we're learning that it was a JFRD dive team member, possibly. Talk about the resources they use to get through an area like that.
Well, I mean, you just hear some noise. I mean, children make noise, and once you've heard the noise, then you know there's something in the woods. You know it's not an armadillo or something that is subject to being in the wooded area here, particularly with all this activity. But I think, again, it shows the endurance of law enforcement and other community support here in Jacksonville to bring all those resources to bear. Earlier, there are signs on the road, we're still looking for the missing children. And even though there was some information that they might have been abducted by somebody with loud music, here they were. So that's pretty incredible. But it really speaks to the tenacity of law enforcement and the fact that we all share a common interest in our children, the fact that they are so important and we love them, and we don't want anything ever to happen to them. And so the entire community essentially turned out to help find these children.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dale Carson, joining us right now as we're just now learning that the 2 missing kids were found safe. And actually, right before I started talking to Dale, I was talking to those JSO officers. The one thing they were able to tell me is that this is a blessing. So right now we're learning where those children are, if they're getting checked out. And so I'm going to go run off to try to find out more from police right now.
Blessing indeed.
John, Mayor Curry just tweeting 20 seconds ago, overjoyed to hear that Braxton and bri'ya have been found and are safe. This is a Christmas miracle. I am thankful for the tireless efforts of first responders and compassionate members of our city. My prayers continue for this family, and I am so grateful for this positive outcome. That from the mayor of Jacksonville. Christmas miracle.
Confirming what our three sources have been telling us, and that is, it is indeed a miracle of sorts. It's just incredible. You saw the brush that Dale was trudging through there, and you know, it shows that you can throw all the resources at something in a small area and still not cover all the ground, and it's why it's so important to have as many eyes and ears out for these kids as possible. And you have so many agencies that chip in to be a part of this, and you saw the mayor here mention tireless. They've been on 24-hour shifts. Yeah. And even when we talked to the sheriff, and earlier we heard from the assistant chief, they weren't giving up. No. They are relentless when they search in these types of efforts. And again, we saw the same thing with Taylor Williams. We saw the same thing with Lonzie Barton. And so to have that kind of positive ending where three sources and a family member confirming that these babies are safe and hopefully going to be reunited with their family, who I just cannot even imagine the relief that they feel. You heard the cousin just says, I just thank Jesus. This is all God. She's just relieved, and she said, I just can't wait for them to get loved on. And you mentioned not giving up, because let's be honest, it would be understandable for these law enforcement and firefighters who have searched tirelessly for other children in the past to oh man, we know how this is going to end. It's not going to end well. But the fact that they don't do that because they hold out hope, and this is why. Absolutely. These two children are why they continue to hold out hope and keep searching hour after hour, day after day. Yeah, this is the news that we wanted to hear. Three sources and a family member confirming that bri'ya and Braxton are safe. And one of the big concerns too, we know that police also revealed that Braxton is on the autism spectrum but could communicate. So there were some concerns there about him being able to maybe communicate to someone if he was found, or being able to ask for help. And so hearing that they were found safe and together. So now we don't know exactly what is happening, but we can, with some authorities, speak to the fact that it appears that they were put in an ambulance, and we know they're going to be checked out physically to make sure that they are okay. If in fact they did spend 2 days and 2 nights in the wilderness, if you will, outside in the elements, they'll be checked for cuts and bites and all of those kinds of things. They'll be reunited, of course, with their family. And then they'll be asked questions as much as they can about what happened, why they went away, what they did while they were out there, what they did, exactly, all of those things. Where we hope that at some point down the road here we'll have a better idea of what had happened. But really, ultimately, as we've been saying over and over again, the bottom line here is that they've been found safe and sound, and that they will get to go back to their family in time for the holidays. I just tell you personally, just being up here, we do a lot of news, and I know when folks see us at the grocery store and they see us out and about and they go, oh, you guys only talk about just bad stuff, bad stuff, bad stuff. I can tell you, for us, we don't get joy in doing that, and it's good to be able to report something good to you, that these children were found safe. We do take pleasure in being able to do that, and also to honor the work, the hard work of the men and women who've spent days searching for these children to reunite them with their family. This is the outcome that they work for. This is the outcome that this community wanted, and thank you to everyone. Thousands of people shared our tweets and posts to help to get the word out. We got calls, we got emails, people offering their own theories, any bit of information, and I know you passed that on to police, so thank you to the community for putting the word out. Like, even though they were found, it looks like pretty close to home, that stuff is important, and it helps officers as they're searching in these cases, and it helps them to not give up, because they need those leads to keep going. You need the leads, and that's exactly what has happened here. It ended up being somebody, an authority found them, but it could have been anybody. Could have been anything. And that's exactly the point. So, all right, we are going to take a break right now, but we are going to be back on Action News Jax at 5 as we work to talk to officials to get some of those answers we just talked about to the questions of what happened to these kids in the last couple of days. What were they doing? We're going to try to get some of those answers for you. We just heard from the cousin of a family member. We're going to try to talk more with other family members and about this reunification just in time for the holidays. Just a wonderful ending to this story, but we are going to continue to follow it throughout the newscast this afternoon on Action News Jax. So make sure you keep it right here on Action News Jax. We'll see you at 5.
This has been a CBS 47 Fox 30 Action News Jax breaking news update. For continuing coverage of this story, download the Action News Jax news app.